everybody, we're Mike and Jennifer Wendland, and in this edition of How We Roll, we've got reader questions about winterizing. We've been talking a lot about winterizing as it starts to get cold around the northern states. Two questions. Here's one from Bill, and Bill says, my wife and I follow your travels and very much enjoy your informative newsletter. We have a 2013 Winnebago Era on a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter chassis. That's what this E-Trek is, on the Mercedes chassis, and thoroughly enjoy the adventures from our Ohio home. I know you must receive numerous emails, but I'd like your opinion. We'll have our RV winterized and stored until January, and then we're going to head to Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. I plan to unwinterize the RV around Texarkana. My question is, what do I do if it's freezing when we try to visit the Grand Canyon or Sedona for a couple of days? Do I locate a dealer and have it winterized again? Any tips would be appreciated. Thank you, and keep up the good work. This is from Bill from Ohio. Well, Bill, you're going to have to re-winterize.
We learned the hard way last year that it doesn't take much and it freezes up and it is a mess, and you don't want to deal with that. It is much cheaper to re-winterize. If it's cold, you got to prepare. Yeah, we actually ended up winterizing 3 different times last year, and we will probably do so again this year, because if the temperature drops down to below 28 for a prolonged period of time, and by prolonged I mean 5 or 6 hours, and it doesn't rise above freezing during the daytime, then you need to make sure you have that pink stuff, the antifreeze, in. But it is not a pretty sight when you see those icicles hanging and you go, oh no.
Yeah, it will freeze up. Now, we are lucky we have not had any damage because we were able to get to it right away, but I've heard horror stories of other people who've had pipes lost, the whole plumbing had to be redone. So yes, using it in going from hot to cold, when you go back to the cold, you're going to have to winterize it. Many people will insist on just winterizing it once, and then if they're going to go down, say, to Florida or someplace where it's warm, they will flush the toilet with antifreeze, no solids, I'm trying to say this tactfully, and then they'll just come right back up, you know, and it'll still be winterized. But if you're going to be going back and forth and spend a significant amount of time in warm climates, you probably want to unwinterize it and winterize it before you come back to the cold. So you got some work. It's not that hard, and you don't have to have a dealer do it. Look here in the blog, we got lots of stuff. You can winterize it yourself. If I can do it, anybody can do it. Okay, one more question. This has to do with winter too. This is from Vic. Vic says, your video on how to winterize my SS Agile road trek was helpful. Question, when I put my van in the barn for the winter months, do I need to take the flat screen TV out of the van?
I wouldn't think you had to, or they would tell you that you have to do that. Yeah,
I never thought of that question, Vic, but when you stop to think about it, if you go to a dealer in the north, the flat screen TVs are in the RVs, so they don't remove them. We've gone through a couple of winters now, and we have not removed ours, and there's been no problem. So, and particularly, you're going to be in a barn. Even though it might get cold, it's not going to be quite as bad as being outside. I don't think you have to worry about removing the TV. Just make sure you're winterized. And if you're in a barn, another thing we haven't talked about is watch out for mice. You may want to make sure and to inspect it regularly while it's in storage, that you don't have mice getting in. On our Facebook page, we've heard from a lot of people who've had a lot of mess because of mice.
Mice are scary. They can do a lot of damage.
Cute little critters, but they are pretty messy. Well, that's another edition of How We Roll. No matter where you are in the country, whether you have to winterize or you're one of the lucky snowbirds taking the great migration to a warmer climate, we're glad you joined us for this report. If you have a question, just send us an email. We would love to answer it. There's our address right there on the screen. Until the next time, this is Mike and Jennifer Wendland, and that is How We Roll.